Hello, everybody, and welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet. And today we're going to be taking a look at a piece from the 35th anniversary issue of Blithe Spirit. That is the Journal of the British Haiku Society. And we're going to take a look at a piece from their anniversary collection. They have a couple sections in here where they highlight poems from past issues over the years. This one comes from episode. It did issue 8.2 from Yasuhiko Shigemoto. Hopefully I got that pronounced right. The first line is Peony Garden. Peony Garden. And with that said, you know what time it is. It's time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a tasty beverage, and let's haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you for another episode of Haiku Talk. Let's get right to the poem. The poem goes like this. Peony Garden, your slow step, my slow step. Peony Garden, your slow step, my slow step. What a wonderful, nice piece. And what I like about this so much, again, very few words, and it sets up a scenario where the idea, no matter how you read this poem, what the relationship of the people are, it's two people going through a peony garden together at a slow pace, with that first person setting the pace. And so, like Peony Garden, your slow step, my slow step. And what's great about that is that the your slow step, to me, because it comes first and then followed by my slow step, means that I am following the pace of the you in the poem. And that's just a wonderful thing, going through a garden together and doing it together and following the pace of one person, adjusting your pace to the pace of somebody else, to slowly go through what I can only imagine being a very beautiful garden. And the relationship there between the you and the me, or the you're and the my, I think about it in a couple different ways, and in every way I end up smiling. I see this as potentially the your slow step could be a child. And the my slow step is I'm walking with that child, sharing this moment of the garden. And in that scenario, I see that little kid being allowed to be a little kid, to walk at the slow pace with their small legs, and being able to enjoy the garden however they want to, stopping, seeing, smelling, picking, touching, looking at bugs, at dirt, at whatever it is, really getting in there and enjoying and exploring this garden. And the fact that I'm walking at their pace, again, allowing them to be a child and to experience things, not dragging them along, not showing things, not pointing things out, not doing anything but allowing the experience to unfold. And I think that's a really cool way to see this poem. And then I think of another reading, which is perhaps I'm walking out with a child, but with, my grandma or a grandpa, who walks at a slower pace because they're older and because they're very particular about what's happening in their garden. So maybe they're stopping, doing some weeding, really looking at things, trying to tell me about what the flowers are, how they planted them, showing me things, teaching me something. So it, in a sense, allows them, again, to be the leaders of this and puts me at their pace to learn, to watch, to share the moment with them. And that's a really wonderful moment. I really like that. And then I also think about it as just walking with a loved one. And we both are sharing the moment together, walking at a slow pace, because we both approach this garden slowly. And we approach this garden together. And we are both stopping. And maybe for whatever reason, maybe it's just because you're in love and you were stopping to smell the flowers, literally. Or, you are working the garden together. Or you're just out on a stroll, Whatever you're doing it together, and your paces match. And that's a beautiful thing. Or perhaps it's an older couple walking together where you can only walk slowly together. But the fact that you're still doing it together and your paces match is what makes this moment so special. I don't get any sense of any aggravation. I don't get any sense of anybody being mad about the pace or like, gosh, this is your slow pace. I mean, you could maybe read it that way, but I certainly see this as a calm moment of people sharing the flower garden together. And no matter how I play that scene, all of these scenes are perfectly fit in the realm of the moment that's been captured here. They fit the construction of the poem that allow me to enter this moment and paint it in all of these different ways. And like I said, they're all very pleasurable and very, very calming and very wonderful. I enjoy entering this poem. I enjoy entering this moment because it tells me not only about the flowers, but also the relationship with between the two people, both at that slow pace, both moving together, both enjoying this moment together. So let's kind of take a look at how this works. It does follow the fragment and phrase format with the first line of Peony Garden, Peony Garden, which puts us right in a place, puts us right specifically in a garden. Now, it doesn't tell us if it's an indoor garden or in a greenhouse, meaning like in a greenhouse, or if it's a park, it's a personal garden, or what. It leaves that to us to step into the moment and figure that out ourselves. But it puts us right into a garden, so our senses are engaged. We can see the beautiful flowers. We can smell the beautiful flowers. We can imagine ourselves in a garden, a peony garden. Then we go to line 2, which is your slow step. Your slow step. And that immediately tells you that you, as you enter the poem, you're sharing this moment with another person. And that other person is exploring the garden slowly. We're aware of their pacing. We're aware that they're moving slowly through this garden. We're not told why. And again, that's beautiful because it allows us to paint that picture, paint that scene, and figure that out, which is what makes the moment ours. And again, that's a key important part of Haiku and Senryu, is that the moment is created and the reader completes the poem by stepping into it and adds their whole life story to the moment and fills in all the white space around the words on the page to make this moment big and alive and personalized from our own experiences. And then, so that line 2, again, your slow step, it sets the pace. It sets kind of almost a tone a bit for the poem, for the moment that you're in a garden and somebody's walking slowly. So we're paying attention not only to the garden, but we're paying attention to the person we're in the garden with. So there's a lot of sense of perception here, a lot of observation, a lot of taking care and notice of what's happening in the garden with this person that you're with. And then you get to line 3, which brings home and kind of closes up this really nice thing with my slow step. My slow step. So not only me in the third line, and when you read the poem and it builds itself down to that third line, your first hit with the garden, your second, you notice that you're there with somebody that's walking slowly. And then at last, having taken all this information, you are also walking slowly. And that's why it feels like that it's the me, I am paying attention to the person I'm with, their pace through this, for whatever reason why they're walking slowly, and I'm adjusting myself accordingly to the moment, to the person that I'm with, and to walk through the garden. And that connection of the way that it's layered with those 3 lines, 3 lines of awareness, 3 lines of perception, 3 lines to get me at the end to realize, oh, this is the scene, this is the movement, this is what's happening. And it builds such a great picture, such a great moment. I can definitely see why they selected this one to, out of the 35 years of issues of this journal, to represent a highlight of those years. So wonderful poem. I hope you guys have enjoyed it just as much as I have. And with that said, we're going to close up this episode. Thanks for tuning in as always. Hope everything is going well with you. And, when you're out enjoying a moment with people, don't forget from time to time to let other people set that pace. And if it's slow, go slow. Enjoy. Be together. Smell the flowers. Enjoy your day. Until next time.